Alrighty then. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? And no, we're not late. Action. We are not late.
I'm good, Mike. Good to see you. Happy Friday.
You too,
from,
Batgoat.
from Prior Lake, Minnesota.
And I'm from Southern California here. I don't really care, but people say I shouldn't really say where I'm from, but I'm from La Mirada. So
You don't hide your name either, and I've told you before, there's no doxing me. You can go to my channel and see that my name is Mikestand, and I live in Prior Lake, Minnesota, so I've got nothing to hide.
Yeah. So, yeah, YouTube says we got 4 people watching. The StreamYard seems to think we only have 2, so, they're always screwy. But anyways.
Toys called us late. Shut up. Toys.
Oh, you didn't, hey, Dave.
Dave. Buenas noches, señor.
Yeah, so before we get started, of course, Batgoat, is there anything you want to,
Yeah, real quick, I don't have my trophy because I was golfing all week again, so I haven't painted or worked on any of my stuff. But you know what? Look what I got. I got a new swatch. I ordered this. Ooh, you can't see it. There it is. It's pretty cool. And I bought 2 of them. I bought a cheaper one that's actually really small. It's like the girl size. So I'm like, hey, I can make another championship swatch. So what Toys has the first one at 5. I could make a 10 lulls win, but he's at 9, Woody's at 7, Dave's at 3. So that's my thought. We'll see what happens. I also have a word tonight for Hangman. If Mike steps away from the camera, we'll go ahead and play. It is a 5-letter word. So I'll show you the thing. 5-letter word. And then probably later on in the show, towards the end, you guys will remind Mike. I do have a few pictures up on my Google Photos thing, so we can share them at the end of the show.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyways,
Batgoat Stone.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody might think you were back in Bedrock or something like that.
Nice German Jew name. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So, anyways, well, we got 4 people in here, so I guess we can go ahead and get right into it. Since we got a nice little crowd here.
My son likes last name. Him being a cop, having the last name of Stone. He thinks it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there are too many people who would be foolish enough to mess with a cop named Stone.
He's a big dude. You've seen how big I am. He's much bigger than me, and he's not fat.
Well, I haven't seen him in live actually, so it'd be kind of hard to tell. But anyway, so tonight, just to remind everybody, we're finishing up our coverage of May of 1938. We're going to be looking over some material that went on sale from Centaur Comics and David. We're going to actually start with David McKay here, just to and also Centaur came out with a title called Keen Detective Funnies at this time too. We're going to be looking at as well. We'll actually be reading from Keen Detective Funnies, the first issue, and I'll explain a little bit more about that because the indicia is different from the actual book. Anyways, also, I thank you guys already for all the likes and shares. That does help, and thank you for that. So anyways, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this. So the first thing we're going to look at here is Ace Comics number 15. Again, as we know, the David McKay stuff, no copies of the actual comics, but we can at least look through some of the summary material here. So Batgoat, on the cover there are a couple of your favorites right there. The
Katzenjammer Kids. Yeah, I like that.
With art by Joe Musial right there.
I do like that style.
Yeah. Very cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, aside from Flash Gordon, another title that Alex Raymond was known for was Jungle Jim here, a jungle adventure type newspaper reprint from 36 and 37. Here's the first line of dialogue or text from that story. Hawkins has discovered that Blackie, his unconscious cellmate, is his duh, 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 duh.
Is it Blackie, huh?
Then you have Ripley. You have the Ripley's Believe It or Not feature in there.
I don't like Ripley's Believe It or Not.
And they made a television series out of that too in the 80s.
230. Oh, Toys. Toys is looking to get another championship swatch. He comes out swinging early on the lulls.
Yeah, with dad jokes galore, huh? Batgoat? Did you hear me there?
Yeah, with the dad jokes. Oh, yeah, he's the best at those.
Yeah. Captain Gemma Kids by Harold Nur. Our block, let's see. Cutie Harper at Lakespur. Lyman Young. Etiquette from Paul Robinson. You know, that, of course, that's a bit of a play on words too. We've talked about that before.
Etiquette.
I bet you that's like some little girl who, or actually, no, it says genre here is teen. So, teen who's very prim and proper.
Probably.
Teen slice of life there.
Barney Google.
Barney Google?
Yeah. He was the first dude that knew the answers to everything. Like back in the 30s, you know, if you didn't know something, you'd be like, who sings that jazz song? Go ask Google. And Barney Google would come up and he'd go, boom, and he'd spit out the answer right there. He was the very first Google.
I wonder if maybe Google named themselves after Barney Google.
I was being silly, as always.
Okay. From Billy DeBeck right there. Humor. Tim Collar's Luck, another Lyman Young piece. This one's more of an adventure one. Pidgey and his pygmy herd have run off with young Tim.
Pygmy herd, huh?
Yeah. Let's see. Ballsy Wallsy, Pete Tramp, Blondie from Cheap Young, Humor Domestic. I'm sure we've all at some point seen a Blondie strip or comic or character in some form or another, right, Batgoat?
I was talking to Toys. What'd you say?
Blondie here.
Yes.
From Cheek Young. I'm sure we've all seen either the comic or strip or.
I would imagine most people that are familiar with comics know who Blondie is. Blondie and Dagwood.
Yeah. Humor Domestic.
The Bumstead Sandwich.
Tilly the Toiler. 2 pages from Russ Westover. From newspaper reprints of 1930. That one's a soap opera one. Crazy Cat. Sports and Pictures. The Phantom. Lee Falk and Ray Moore. Lee Falk, of course, did 2 events. Like he did the Phantom here in Ace Comics and Mandrake the Magician.
I was going to say the Phantom's the Phantom that we all know. Like he's still a character.
Yeah. Well, I remember. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember this from when I was a kid. I think it was back in 1986. They came out with a cartoon that featured like a few of the King Feature Syndicate superheroes. The Phantom being one of them. Flash Gordon. Mandrake the Magician and Lothar, Defenders of the Earth. I don't know if you remember that one.
I remember you talking about it before, and I thought it was funny because
the Defenders of the Earth.
I remember a Saturday Night Live character named Lothar of the Hill People from the 90s with Mike Myers. It was a funny sketch.
Well, no, Lothar was kind of the muscle-bound manservant for Mandrake the Magician. So this one's in the genre of adventure, jungle, superhero. And here's another one that kind of, because I think Phantom actually made his debut a couple issues prior to this. So this is another mystery man who I think predates Superman.
The Phantom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think he debuted 2 issues prior to this.
Okay.
So
he's the one. He's got a skin tight suit, and his head is colored. It's like two different colors, right? On the Phantom.
No, this Phantom, as I understand it, he wore like a purple suit with a mask on.
The
He had
purple
like,
suit with the mask. Okay.
yeah. Let me see if I remember the part of the line from the Defenders of the Earth song. Defenders. Let's see. Defenders. Defenders. Let's see. No, that's Mandrake. Phantom Defenders.
Toys, you have 3 points already.
Lord of the jungle, the hero who stalks. The beasts call him brother, the ghost who walks. Phantom. That's the part from the opening theme to Defenders of the Earth that describes the Phantom.
I thought it would have been funny if I tried to sing the Smurf song while you were singing, just to be dumb.
Yeah, but anyway, so here's the first line of dialogue or text. Meanwhile, hanging underneath the floating canoe.
Meanwhile, zing.
Yeah. As I said, Lee Falk wrote both the Phantom and Mandrake the Magician.
The Super Friends of the 70s that we remember every time they would always do that. Meanwhile,
Back at the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, and goes.
Well,
Zing!
that was William Woodson's voice. That was William Woodson's voice doing that.
Okay.
Actually, no. Well, I think for the most part it was William Woodson was a little later. I think in the 73 Super Friends cartoon, I think it was actually Ted Knight who was doing that.
Is that right?
Yeah, okay. I think in the 73, that was the one with Wendy and Marvin and Wonder Dog.
Okay.
And then when you got to like the all new Super Friends hour, you got to the Super Friends cartoons with Zan and Gina. That was William Woodson who would do that. Who would
Ted Knight? Man, he was great. Judge Smales.
Yeah. Let's see, and basically, yeah. So in here you had Blondie and Phantom as the two probably more well-known characters of this particular book. Ace Comics. This is issue 15 that we just kind of scanned through a little. Well, we didn't scan through the book. We just scanned through the summary there. But I'll just go back up one more time so you guys can see the cover there. Maybe I'll even highlight the cover so you can get a better look at the cover. Cats and Jammer kids. All right. All right, so there's the cover right there of Ace Comics number 15 right there. Starring Blondie, believe it or not, Jungle Jim, and of course the Cats and Jammer kids right there on the cover. So there you go for that. So now before we actually go and start reading from Keen Detective Funnies, I'm going to just what's up, Batgoat? Is that something up?
I'm mistyping stuff on my calculator here. Go. Never mind me.
Oh, what are you trying to figure out?
Just 10 cents.
I think by today comics are like $6 basically.
Yeah, a 10-cent comic is equivalent to $1.94. Today's money.
Well, in today's money, yeah.
But that is still a bargain because the modern comics are way too expensive.
Especially when they're like doling out the SJW garbage. At least, I don't know if Archie's really doing it, but we know like some of the bigger ones like DC. Well, we know DC.
Yeah, we know DC. Yeah, the Orange Man Bad Squad.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Powered by internet gas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I told you because I remember you commented on that last night when I think I mentioned something about that. Said what was it we were talking about? Oh, I can't even remember now. But
the one story where she was talking about female representation on the anime story.
No, I don't think I covered that last. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So Now I wanted to go through this first, just simply because, and then then from here we'll go straight to the actual book. But there's a note here on this that I wanted to bring up.
You're
So
gonna have to reword that knock knock joke, Toys. I just don't understand what you're trying to say.
So Keen Detective. So we're gonna read Keen. We're gonna read the first issue of Keen Detective. Um, Keen Detective Funnies tonight. But here's the thing: no Volume 1, numbers 1 through 7. Volume 1-8 is the first issue. Following Volume 3-1 numbering changed to sequential numbers for number 18 through 24. Most of the stories from the first few issues are reprints from Funny Picture Stories and Detective Fun. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to note here, as we talked about earlier, we talked about a couple months ago when as 37 was turning into 38, and Centaur Publications had bought out all 10 publications and started up Centaur Comics. One of the things they did earlier on is with their newer titles, they were using the newer titles to just simply reprint some of the obviously the backlog or the older stuff of the reprints of the company's predecessors of the properties they'd already picked up. So, and you'll see that. So you see here volume 1-8 there goes all the way up to volume 3-1 and then goes with the regular sequential numbers. I guess I will flash this here to show you guys. So that's a book we're going to be reading more of. I'm not going to read through all the synopsis stuff because we're going to be actually reading through the title. We're not going to be reading that. Now, there is a clock story in there, but we're not going to read that one because we've already read that.
Okay.
As I said, this is all reprints. A story from which and then on the cover there, they're saying here, the story from which the illustration was reprinted does not appear in this story. So that cover illustration is not actually from a story within the book.
Oops. So a Russian KGB joke. All right, Toys. I'm giving you credit for it.
All right. So, anyways, let me see. Now you just gotta.
Which means 5-0 Toys. I guess Toys is the only one who wants a championship swatch.
I haven't heard anything from Dave in a while.
Woody used to let jokes fly too.
Well, Woody hasn't shown up yet, has he?
I thought Woody was here, wasn't he? Or no?
I didn't see.
That's right. Yeah, it's just Toys and Dave. Okay, just Toys and Dave. That's all we need.
Well, I mean, I like as many friendly faces who want to enjoy the content.
Of course, I'm just trying to make our friends feel better.
Centaur Comics here, so let's see. And Keen Detective Stories. Oh yeah, I did pick out like 3 stories. We're going to probably be reading through at least 3 of the stories here. So Keen Detective Funnies, July. Now, July is the cover date. So just to kind of help you guys understand that. So Rocky Baird up top there. He looks kind of like a pilot kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a pilot headgear.
He could be like a auto racer. Back then they wore stuff like that too.
Yeah, yeah, that could be true too. Captain Jim. Broken Skull, Wood Police, and then the clock. But as I said, we've already read that particular clock story because that was a clock story from, I think, from Funny Pictures number 10 or whenever his first appearance was.
Captain Napkin.
And then of course there's the clock. Doesn't that look familiar to you, Batgoat?
There he is. Yeah, that's my dude.
Doesn't the story look familiar from when we read it before?
Yeah, I remember that letter. Well, there's been a few stories where we've seen the cursive letters, yeah.
Okay, so this is the first story I was going to go ahead and read tonight. Bayfront Cowboy by Ellis Edwards. I figured I'd pick this one out because we have seen some of Ellis Edwards' work before, at least once before. You might remember in DC that the feature Chico Chaco.
I do remember that one.
Yeah,
I remember the name. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the same guy who wrote that one as well. So let's see. Let's get into Bayfront Cowboy here, a complete detective story in pictures. Okay. So let's get into this.
Bayfront Cowboy. That's kind of funny. Pretty descriptive for, back then.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I can already tell what type of dude he is just by those words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The seafaring folk had given old Chris his nickname of Bayfront Cowboy until it became as far-reaching as some of the tales they told of his 30 years on a whaler. Far-reaching is like another word for like far-fetched or tall tale. I think those are two. Whopper, that's just another way they would say it back then.
No, I think far-reaching, meaning I think they're saying like he's very popular. The tales about him are becoming almost legendary as they spread out away from him, especially back then when you didn't have social media,
I guess you have a point there. Let's see. If the deadly accuracy of Chris' grappling hook brought only a piece of broken anchor chain or a case of canned goods to the surface, there were still some who remembered a younger Chris bucking a foamy sea to the prow of a longboat, harpoon poised for the strike. One evening about dusk, Chris heard. "We've been spotted, Gus. Get rid of that brat quick. Let's scram." "But the dough, huh? How?" "Shut up." Jingo, them lubbers must had something on their conscience throwing a poor little tyke in the bay and then running away. I fished him out of this bay afore this, but this is the first time I ever brought one out alive. A shot in the back ain't nice to think on, but I guess them fellers was in too big a hurry to care what happened to the baby. By jingo, it's good to get home and some hot soup and dry clothes. I gotta go off screen for a quick moment. I'll be right back.
All right. So, Toys, did you hear that I've got a Hangman game going? So it is a 5-letter word. 5-letter word. Same theme as before. Good old 46, our pal, our friend. Mike and I were talking before the show, and he was saying something about a comic strip named Sheena. I'm like, yeah, that's really old, isn't it? And then I'm like, was Tanya Roberts, remember that movie in the 80s where she was like naked a lot? Was that Sheena? Was that the live action version of Sheena? Okay, well, both you guys guessed A, so it wasn't She-Ra. What was the Tanya Roberts movie? Uh-oh. So that's a miss on the A. Any of you guys notice sometimes when Mike is going through the page, the info pages, and it will say the name of the characters and maybe the first line of dialogue, and it always says the publisher. I always see the indicia. I don't know how you pronounce it, but because of that third I in there, and every time I see it, I think it's Indica Publishing. I'm like, man, those guys, how rad to be Indica Publishing back in the 30s. All right, we have another guess here. It is an E. Ruh-roh.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, game's on pause.
All right. Let's see now. Okay, so back to the story here.
Since no one's answering my question, I'm going to look this up on my own.
Poor little feller. He's plumb tuckered out. Oh, he'll be chipper as a bug in the morning. Good morning. How about some breakfast? Boat? What's your name, Sonny? Sonny? Sonny, you stow this away and then we'll go find your folks. If we can. Well, it's plain to see you got no liking for beans. Look at that Batgoat. You see that?
Well, yeah, he doesn't like them.
Yeah.
Patui.
Yeah. Batgoat, when you look at that, how old would you say that kid is?
I don't know. He was all like swaddled up in a blanket, like you'd think he was like a little toddler, but he looks more like 2 or 3. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and with the way he's responding, yeah, 2 or 3 might be about right.
Yeah, toddlerish. And good old Bayfront Cowboy there. He's rocking the mutton stash, so I like him already. He's got a little less hair than I do, but yeah, that's good facial hair.
Yeah. I'll just slip uptown and get some milk. Can't let the kid starve. Wuxtra, millionaires, baby kidnapped. What? Paper reads, millionaire baby kidnapped from father's yacht. It's Sonny, all right. I'll go up to the millionaire's house and tell him so they won't be worrying about ransoming. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I don't know if it's going to work out as well as he thinks.
It's probably not a good idea, no.
Unless he should take the baby with him to the, it might be better.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell Mr. Bliss that I got the boy at my shack at the foot of Camon Street. It's Payne It's painted red. Nice place you got here. Guess I'll scoot along. You tell Mr. Bliss where. The kid, and he gets knocked from behind. He'll be out for long enough for us to get the kid again and take him out to the yacht. Oh, where am I? Thought it was going to be something different, but apparently, I guess the house staff was in on it.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. Oh, where am I? Gotta get back to the kid. No telling what that butler fellow might do. Might have known it. Door broke down and the kid gone.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke, but Dave scored a point on just adding a line in there. Excuse me, well-to-do folk. I have your child. Wait, hold on. That's funny.
Huh. So the kidnappers are writing to me now. And then there's a letter. Let's see if I can read any of it. Listen, wise guy. Don't try to horn in again. Or the rope what you know. Or the cops. Okay. Don't try to horn in again or tell the cops what you know. Or here's $5 to pay you for the knob over cork. Remember, lay off. And you got literally you got a kind of a drawing of a little skull and crossbones in the corner of that letter.
Not a good one.
Not a good one.
Dave said there's nothing threatening about calligraphy. Well, it's cursive, not really calligraphy, but
yeah, it's cursive handwriting, which I'm terrible at.
No one uses it anymore, except my mom.
Who really handwrites anything these days with computers and stuff like that?
I handwrite all the time. I have notebooks all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I did some handwriting the other day, adding to my story from a few years ago that I started a few years ago.
You guys see, like I always do capital block writing, so it's like it's legible.
Okay, so
I flashed the word. I hope they didn't see that. Crap.
All right. So, anyways, getting back to the story here, I've been bluffed, I've been bluffed by experts, but ain't back watered for none yet. The paper said Bliss yacht was right here in the bay. By jingo, I'll row around till I find her. Bliss might be on the yacht. Guess I'll take old grapple along. I might pick up something.
Not fair. They're trying to cheat.
Who's trying to cheat?
The guys, Toys and Dave.
There's Blitz yacht. What in tarnation? Somebody's no wonder they call him Bayfront Cowboy.
A lot of action going on around him, right?
Somebody's a firing at me. That bullet comes pretty close. Bang! The luck. It's almost impossible to hit that old snitch bobbing around like a cork. Why did you shoot at that man? You disobeyed my orders. Hand over your gun. Mr. Bliss! Get this, Mr. Bliss. I've got a gun and I'll use it. Where's that ransom money? You didn't think you'd get your kid back for nothing, did you? Where's that money? I haven't the money here. Blast you, trying to trick us again. Urgh. Search his cabin. Break into the strong box. Find that money. How about the kid, boss? Snap into it. That old guy is still hanging around.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Like Macho Man Randy Savage. Let's see. Two and two make four. Here's where I collect collect for the lump on my head. Well, Mr. Butler, kidnapper, if that grapple hook hadn't caught you in the throat, you might have lived long enough to tell me what you done to the kid.
Damn.
Oh man.
Cowboy don't play. He stuck the grappling hook right in the dude's throat.
I don't know though if that was necessarily his intention though.
Dude, that ends that guy's career. Cowboy don't play.
Yeah. Well, look at the previous panel there. You look up in the corner there where the butler is. You can see the blood splattering right there a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man, that's a nasty way to go.
I mean, I guess he's been throwing that thing. He's been throwing that grappling hook his whole life. So that's one dude you don't want hucking something sharp at you.
Uh-huh. He's got Frankie. How did he do it? Get back, out of the way. You'll get hurt. Donner and Blitzen. He's using Frankie as a shield. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh. Donner and Blitzen. He's using Frankie as a shield. Look out for that hook. Uh-oh, that's the kid. I'll hook that fellow with his head turned away from me. Didn't I tell you to get back? Bang! Bang! He's caught on that. He's caught on that bleep hook. You won't catch me asleep. Bleep you.
Got another dude with his grappling hook.
Oof.
And another.
Yeah. If I get my hands on you, I'll kill you for that kick in the back. Oh, I am blind. You think I cannot find you? I'll show you, Sonny. I'll show you. Sonny, come here. Now you will yell when I twist Sonny's arm. Yes, I carry 2 guns, Mr. Bliss. In the meantime, there, the Bayfront Cowboy right there. He looks like he's kind of trying to scale the boat there.
Yep.
Drop that gun.
Damn.
Thank heaven.
He's a downright thug with the grappling hook. I love him. He's like, this is my new dude. He rules.
I don't know if this actually became a regular feature or not.
Of course not, because he rules.
But the police wouldn't believe me when I told them I captured the kidnapper single-handedly with a grappling hook.
And killed one of them, too. You know. Who was the other guy that I liked that was only around for one? It was the something. He was the something. Man, I forgot already. I could find it because I drew notes about him.
Well, that was the end of that story.
That was a good one. I liked Bayfront Cowboy.
So that's the first of
the Hawk. Remember the Hawk?
Oh, yeah, I remember the Hawk.
He was a bad apple. He didn't put up with no guff.
Yeah, the Hawk, because the Hawk was written by George Brenner, the same guy who wrote The Clock.
Yeah, and he had just kind of like a bag over his head too. But he was so cool.
Captain Jim and the Chinese Pirate, and I'm not going to read this one because Chinese pirates. So here's the Rocky Baird story by Paul J.
You see what Dave just wrote?
No, but I can take a look before I get started on this next story here. Let's see. Spacebar said it.
Yeah, the very last one. The last comment.
All right. The face napkin guy.
Exactly.
Well, that's the clock. That's the clock, Dave. That's the clock. And actually, and just to like give you guys a little heads up, we will be reading one of his stories again.
Face napkin guy.
Yeah, in a few weeks here it'll be on October 22nd. We'll be looking at Feature Funnies number 10, and we'll of course be reading the clock feature in that. So just to give you guys a heads up on. So and just to let you guys know, I pretty much and I mentioned this to Batgoat, I pretty much have the rest of the year planned out. So I'll be getting into some good stuff. I hope you guys have been enjoying all this, all the history and all that we've been learning these past few months.
Yeah.
So I hope you'll continue to enjoy it as we continue down comic history lane. Anyways, Rocky Baird by Paul J. Loretta. In the Himalaya Mountains, northern frontier of British India, a lone figure makes its way southward through a narrow path. Now, just a reminder, and I'm sure Batgoat, you know this as well. I think India became independent. In like sometime late 1940s or something like that.
It was right after World War II. It was like 46 or 47.
Yeah, I was thinking 47. So at this point in time in 1938, India was still part of the British Empire. So,
yeah.
So that's why they call it British India. So just
Captain Wonder Bread.
Yeah. Southward through a narrow pass. So. And you see some guys with exclamation points. Now these mountains are sometimes overrun with bloodthirsty bandits. So it is not unusual when the lone traveler happens upon a dozen of them. Yeah, not a good thing to walk into, right?
Mm-mm.
Instantly, bullets are flying around him. Bang, 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 powie, powie. Let's see. But the soldier returns the fire without batting an eye. Oh no, so it is a fight you want. Well, you'll blooming, well, get one. Bang, pow! Presently, he must reload. Here's our chance! Let's charge him! Aye, death to the foreign swine! Unknown to both the bandits and the soldier, the skirmish has been watched with considerable interest. Now here's where I step in and give those demons the surprise of their vicious lives. Again, this adventure, of course, is again in like kind of Southeast Asian. Well, we know British India, part of the Southeast Asian area.
Mm-hmm.
You had a lot of, as Razorfish calling them, a lot of pulp, pulp type stuff coming from this area. So, anyways, the pilot opens fire with his. So yeah, Rocky Bear's the pilot. It looks like the pilot opens fire with his machine gun. Confusion tears the ranks of the bandits asunder. Blood-curdling screams rent the air. The bandits are thrown into a panic, tumbling heads over heels in a hopeless rout. He won't. He won't make it. Too many rocks. Having routed the bandits who attacked a lone soldier, the strange plane proceeds to land in the pass. Should have probably read that part first, but how that goes. But with considerable skill, the plane is landed. Thanks, old top. You sure came in the nick of time. Who are you? Oh, just an American who got sick of leading a dull life. I wanted to see some action, so I decided to look around this world for some, and here I am. So imagine now, Rocky Bear's another guy like, and Tex Thompson in DC Comics, another guy like this. I'm just a plain pulp type hero who just,
Mm-hmm.
no no gimmick or anything like that, but just,
Yeah. Good guy at large.
yeah. Ah, an adventurer. What's your name? James J. Baird, better known as Rocky Baird, ex-prize fighter. So this guy's a pilot. He's a prize fighter. He's a boxer. So what else can this guy do? Maybe he's a bit of a jack of all trades, huh?
I imagine he likes hitting people like many of our other favorite heroes.
And probably comes up with some pretty creative ways of doing it too, huh?
Yep. We'll see. The grappling hook was the best. So I mean, straight up.
Yeah, a lot of these, as Razorfish called them, pulp heroes, they've got, they don't necessarily need a mask or need an aura of mystery to be cool.
Nope.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was getting at. I don't know if you were there when I was reading that article or not yesterday about what Razor Fist was saying.
Oh no, I missed it.
Yeah, I was earlier in the stream. That was probably before
Okay.
we got there. But let's see. I'm Lieutenant Stoneley.
Peace out, toys.
Oh, he had to go.
Yeah, he says he's got to work. So
thank you for being here, toys, and I hope to see you on Monday. Thanks for the like and share and all that. So, and have a good weekend. Oh,
and we hope that Lazarus, his leg is okay.
That's what I was thinking. We forgot to ask about him.
Yeah, and give him our hugs, and remember I said buy him some ice cream.
Yeah. I'm Lieutenant Stoneley of the British Army here in India, and by the way, old chap, I'm in a sort of a big hurry to get to my force for some reinforcements. Those blasted bandits are attacking one of our outposts. Could you give me a lift to the fort? Every minute counts. Why go to the fort at all? Come on, hop in the plane, and we'll scare the wits out of those bandits too. But there's over 1,000 of them. Find the cursor. What?
He said he's not going to be walking for a few months. That's a bummer to hear, but I'm guessing overall he's okay.
For a few months, his leg broke that badly?
It must be. That's just what he said.
I just hope he doesn't have any permanent issues with it, in the future with mobility or anything like that. Yeah, so. There won't be any around after I get through with them. Where's the outpost? 15 miles north of here. Why didn't they radio for help instead of sending you? The wireless set was out of commission. Well, here we are at the outpost. Looks like the fighting is all over. There seems to be no one around. They land. A treacherous silence hangs over the outpost. As Rocky and the lieutenant approach it, they swing open the huge gate, and gasps of horror escape their lips. Look at the exclamation points. So why do you think they're gasping, Batgoat?
Well, it looks like all the dudes are dead.
Killed, butchered, every one of them, man alive. I'm not going to rest till every one of those bandits is dead. And I'm with you, pal. I'd like to give those murdering dogs a taste of their own medicine. You see, now, there's something cool. You could actually say that back then and not get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. True.
You say that today, even playfully, somebody's liable to think that you're serious.
Yep.
Come on, maybe we can catch them. They couldn't have gone far. Interesting way they list the page. Number 4 right there. Even number 4 in the bottom left corner of the...
Yeah.
I wonder if that's how they... Well, but this is long after the 4th page, though. According to this guy, it's like 37th of 50. So... Maybe that was just how the Rocky Baird story was. But anyways. And now, as they emerge from the outpost, hooray! Not one of those dogs must live! When Rocky and Lieutenant landed at the outpost, little did they realize that the sharp-eyed rear guard of the retreating bandits had seen them. Emitting hideous howls, the bandits leaped forth for the kill. Yow! Wow! Here they come! Quick, climb in the plane! Halt! Stop! Bang! Yeah, we're making good time here. We're just coming up on 56 minutes there. The thing is, only after this, I got one more story to go, and then
Okay.
Done.
Well, I'll make sure to add lots of little wisecracks in.
Now give those babies a dose of their own. Wait, now give wait. Okay, now give those babies a dose of their own medicine. Oh no, they don't seem to relish it. Quick, shoot them down. Hey, Lieutenant, grab that sack at your feet. There's hand grenades in it. When I dive low enough, you'll know what to do. Righto. Oh.
Jolly good.
But what was that?
Jolly good.
Yeah. But the bandits have captured several machine guns from. Oh boy. Okay. Machine guns and men are smeared all over the place.
It looks like they successfully tossed some apples. That's what we always called it, tossing apples, when we'd go to the grenade range. I threw a lot of grenades back when I was with the Marines.
Yeah, I've heard alternately grenades have been some of the alternate terms for grenade people have included apples and pineapples, right?
Pineapples from the old style, the Mark whatever, the knurled, what you think of. The newer grenades, Mark 9s or 14s, whatever we threw, they don't look like they don't look like movie grenades.
Alright, so let's see. Look at that, the plane and a bunch of smoke there. We're not defeated yet. Wow, they got us. Pow! Bam! Our only chance is these grenades. Oh. Our only chance is these grenades. Okay, boys, come and get me. Yippee!
Since apparently the laws of physics don't apply to them and you can crash an open cockpit airplane at whatever speed they're going and just walk away from it.
Well, it's comics after all. It's,
I know, but this is one of the ones that's trying to be a little bit more on the realism side. They always do this though, like the car crashes and everyone just pops out of the car.
Catch it, boys. Pow! But still, they keep on coming Rocky hurls the remaining bombs. Wham! Boom! Pow! Bam! Bang! Pow! Crack! And the bandits are all but annihilated. A remaining few take to their heels. And I believe that might be the end. No, not because the only reason I thought it was ending is I thought there's a little signature right there.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Yeah, so I thought that there's probably Lieutenant Stoneley, who was Lieutenant Stoneley, who was knocked unconscious when the ship crashed, comes to. What happened? Where are the bandits? Those bandits won't bother you anymore. Man, I'll see to it that your plane is replaced and that you get a reward besides. Shucks. This fight was a reward in itself, but I'll need the plane to keep moving around to other wars.
Oh, heck yeah. He's like, pay me? Are you kidding? I got to shoot people. This was great.
Rocky Beard.
All right, Rocky. Here's another good one. I'm still, the cowboy. The cowboy with his grappling hook. I'm still in awe of that.
Okay, and this is the last story we're going to look at. And I think this is another 7-pager. See where we at. We're just past the hour mark, so we actually made some pretty good time tonight.
Are you good? You're going to get into the story?
Huh?
You're going to start on the story?
I want to go through these comments real quick here because it looks like Toys actually had some like Toys.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go get another drink, so I'll mute and step away for a minute.
I'll leave stream open as always. Oh yeah. He's not walking for a few months. I'll send a pic of him. Yeah, well that's gonna say Laser said it's okay, at least his gaming hands didn't get hurt. Yeah, but still, as I said, I just hope he doesn't, I just hope he doesn't have any like permanent issues with his mobility. When it happened, Laser asked me if he was going to die. I lol and said, poor boy. You feel like you're gonna die. He stopped freaking out and was like, Dad, I don't have time for your sarcasm. Well, that brought him out of it.
He knows his father.
Let's see. Never trust a wisecrack. Everyone knows it's full of
poo.
Yeah. Manure. Yeah, so all right. So anyways, so I just want to take a little actually I gotta step away from the computer for a moment, so I'll be right back. All right.
Okay. Alrighty. So we have two guesses that came in. I said I will keep track of those for the next round. So I have an I that was guessed. And an X. There's no final answer. You put a letter down and I'm going to play it. So it looks like you've got 2 more guesses here, dudes. You don't even have 1 letter yet. I looked it up. The character Sheena, the old comic book character, that she's been around for a long time. Mike and I, like I said, we were talking about that. And yes, that was the Tanya Roberts movie of 1984, So a live action of the comic book character Sheena, where she ran around topless in it for quite a bit of the movie. It's a great movie. Sorry, still playing Quake 2 and girls. That's cool. I'll see what I can do to entertain then. If no more letters are coming in, then that's cool. That's cool. Did you guys hear about all right. We have a new letter in. You guys are big on the vowels, huh? When you find out what the word is, you're going to be mad. It's not Swedish, or what did you say, Dave? So who heard about our buddy over from the Young Turks, Mr. Uyerger Jank off? He said that he's a big dude and he would end Joe Rogan in the ring. Wow, dude. Really? It's just, that thought is so funny. Someone that looks like him to talk about him being a big tough guy and then he's been fighting his whole life, and wow. Every word has vowels, right? There might be some examples of some without vowels, but yeah, this word Chinkosaurus. Let's see.
All right, so let's see what else is being talked about here before we get into the next story. Hour and 6. Sorry, still playing Quake 2 Engrossed. I know. Well, I hope you're at least catching some of what we're reading here, Dave. Every word has vowels, right? Yeah, that's what you were.
Let me put the
Chinkosaurus. Well, Dave, where do you think we're at? You think we're in Mr. Let's see. Spitlick's dimension? And just in case you're wondering who I'm talking about, he's one of Superman's enemies.
Okay, do you guys see that? I'm going to put this on hold. Mike's back.
All right. Joe might have a hard time getting his arm all the way around
Chank's throat, bro. I was talking about how Cenk Uygur threatened Joe Rogan. Just unbelievably neurotic.
I know that Toy Bounty Hunters, I think, did a video on that earlier today, and I think that had.
I saw the quarterings video on it. It's laughable. It's as laughable as you think it would be.
Well, you kind of imagine Joe Rogan pounding Cenk Uygur into the cement a few feet.
And Joe's not the type of guy who would say, "Yeah, I'll take it." Joe's probably like, "Okay, dude, whatever." Like, it's redonkulous.
I did hear a bit about actions, woes, got no words. All right. Well, anyways, like we have another person here. So hello, other person. So, anyways, let's move on to the next story. This is the last story we're gonna probably cover tonight. The Spinner, featuring The Case of the Broken Skull by Burt Christman.
Who is the Spinner?
Well, I think it might be this kid. I don't know. But
okay,
this was an interesting name that I'd seen before, but just we never got around to reading any of it.
See who he is. Very cool.
All right. Look, Spinner, we found a horse's skull. Okay. So we're going to use it in our cave. Make it spooky.
Spooky.
I hate skulls and bones. Make me think of dead people. Oh, this guy over here, I think is Spinner. This might be Spinner right here.
Okay.
Guy in the hat there. So you hate skulls, huh, Sue? Well, I remember one, a human skull that saved one life and took another and uncovered one of the richest gold mines in the West.
Spinner, like spinner of yarns. Maybe he tells stories.
That could be. Kind of, I don't know, maybe has a kind of a feel of the Phantom Stranger from DC.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who he is, but
Mm-mm.
we'll see him later.
Okay.
He's a character that came out in the 50s, but it all started when Bruce Berry, a young highway engineer, dropped into the Chalmers Mountain home to use their phone. Sorry to bother you, miss, but the electricians haven't got the construction camp phones rigged up yet. After phoning, Bruce encouraged conversation with the beautiful young lady, Miss Celia Chambers, and he was well received. This is Mr. Clabber, my fiancé.
Clabber.
Interesting name.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to meet you. Oh yes, quite so. But we should see you. We should see you often if they are building a new highway through the canyon, as you say. As the days passed and the new highway progressed, a growing friendship became apparent between Miss Celia and Bruce. Your work fascinates me. His work? Oh boy, where do you think this is going back?
His work? Or is it his?
Then one night, Bruce and Celia ducked Clabber and went to a barn dance. Uh-oh. Won't Clabber be sore? We shouldn't have done it, Bruce. But I'm glad. And Clabber was sore. And Clabber was sore. The next day he found Bruce alone. I'm gonna bash your face in. Really?
He's gonna clabber him.
That would be a very interesting way of putting it, Batgoat. Now, Mr. Clabber, if you are through with my face, I'll go back to work. He just kind of look at that.
He knocked him on his butt, didn't he?
Yeah, knocked him right on his rear end. That evening, Clabber was missed. The next morning, he was still missing. Alarm was felt. One of the boys was telling me that they heard young Bruce cleaned up on Clabber the other day. Oh? Where do you think this could possibly go on back out?
Well, there's going to be some jealousy, and Mr. Clabber's probably going to do something not legal towards the other guy.
Towards Bruce?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Clabber has disappeared after having a confrontation with Bruce.
Or he's going to wind up dead, and they're going to think Bruce did it, and going to have to try to prove his
That's what I was
innocence.
thinking. I was thinking potential frame up here.
Yeah, for sure.
Potential frame up is where I was going with it. A week passed, and still Claver was missing. The police go into action. Sorry, Bruce, but we'll have to hold you. Bruce was taken to the city and questioned. You admit that you had a fight with Claver, and you say you left him without serious injury. Can you prove it? Did anyone see you? Afraid not, sir. No, you can't prove it, because you deliberately killed Claver, and you hid his body or put it where blasting operations would bury it. Didn't you? No.
That's kind of leading the witness.
No. Months later, after a drawn-out trial, the jury finds this man guilty.
On what evidence?
Did they even find a body?
I don't think so.
A lot of this was circumstantial evidence right there.
Yeah.
Of course, this is also prior to Miranda, too.
Part of lots of stuff.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about when I say Miranda, right? The case of Miranda versus Arizona, which brought about Miranda rights. Yeah, okay. And so Bruce Berry is found guilty of murder, and he awaits the time of his execution. Back in the mountains, my dear daughter, quit your brooding. There's something wrong, Mother. Oh, I thought that was her father. Okay, I better do that again. My dear daughter, quit your brooding. There's something wrong, Mother. I don't believe Bruce did it. Whoa! A human skull? Why, buddy, where did you get that hideous thing? Isn't it a honey? I had it all the time, but it was lost out in the woodshed for a long while. Last summer, when they were making the new highway, one of the workmen, Mr. Kelly, found it and gave it to me. Found it right out in the middle of the new bridge. He said, I remember it was the day after Bruce killed Mr. Clabber. Let's see it, buddy. The day after, huh? Strange. I wonder, could there be a connection? I'm going to see Kelly. Uh-oh. So Miss Chambers located Kelly with the hope that he might be able to tell more. Funny thing. It was early in the morning, and I go out to see how the concrete was setting in the new bridge, and there was that skull right in the middle, half buried. You've got to take me there, the exact spot.
Hey, Woody. Good to see you.
Woody's here. Hey, Woody. How you doing, my friend? Hopefully you're having a good day today. We're going through some good stories. As always, I do appreciate any and all the likes and shares. Thank you guys for that. Anyways, as we continue on with the story here.
Cool that, Woody.
Let's see. It was right here, miss. You can see how we patched up the hole. How would you say it got there? I don't know. Nobody knew anything about it. It was half buried, you say. That would mean it was pushed in the soft concrete, or it fell with considerable force. Something screwy might be going on here. I think Bruce may have gotten framed.
Mm-hmm.
They may have used that little scuffle to set him up.
Yeah.
You all right there, Batgoat?
I'm all right.
There were no footprints or other marks on the concrete, so that lets out the pushing. I figure someone was just mean enough to throw it in the fresh concrete. Or it might have dropped. Look how that canyon wall overhangs. Let's investigate it. Oh, actually. Or it might have dropped. Look at how that canyon wall overhangs. Let's investigate. After several hours of climbing, well, I don't see anything unless someone stood on this sheer edge and threw it. Yeah, but if they did throw that, that would be kind of dangerous because they threw it hard enough, their momentum would have taken them with it.
Could, yeah.
Yes, it would have to be thrown. It would miss the bridge if it just dropped. We had to blast away part of this cliff. Look, here's a ledge. Let's follow it. It goes right along the canyon wall. It must have been formed by your blasting. It didn't used to be here. A cave? Oh, opened up by the blasting, I'll bet. And the girl seems a little Miss Chambers there seems to be a bit of a detective, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm. She wants to get to the bottom of this.
Skulls. Old mining equipment. Why, it must be the lost Maniac Mine. I remember legends of it. Lost Maniac Mine?
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting. And look at that bat thing right there.
Big old bat. Yep.
I don't know if that's an actual live bat or if that's like maybe some kind of.
I think it's one that's flying, and it's meant to be like that's flying at you, kind of like close to the camera angle. Because there's another one flying above his head. You can see the shape of it. So.
awed, held in the grip of fascination, the two lighted candles that were found with the equipment and went deeper into the cavern. No, nobody ever believed it. I can't hardly wait. Gold! Reluctantly and highly excited, Miss Chambers and Kelly retraced their steps. It's fantastic! On your property, too, Miss Chambers. Near, nearing the entrance, Celia um, made a horrible discovery. Kelly, look, it's Clabber.
Clabber got clobbered.
Their elation was turned into horror by this gruesome discovery. Then a darkening shadow snapped their attention to the entrance. Grrr! Grizzly! The monstrous beast charged and Kelly threw an only available weapon, a human skull. It missed and sailed out into the open canyon. Don't stand there! Run for your life! Run for your life, Charlie Brown. Race for your
Race
life.
for your life.
Yeah, Charlie
I
Brown.
watched that not too long ago on it's on Prime. It's a good one.
The beast made short work of Brave Kelly. So he's dead.
Wow. I guess he's not so much the protagonist we thought he was going to be.
I think Celia is the protagonist here.
Yeah.
Girl is, which again is another case of a strong woman coming forth here, and
True.
not being a woke woman, but being a actual strong feminine archetype.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then turned on Celia, but she was near the entrance. She ran as never before. Hysterically, Celia continued her flight to the house. The monster! It killed Kelly and Clabber too. Don't you see? Stop crying.
Good Lord. Really? You old bat? Slap her too. Stop crying. Get a hold of yourself.
I'll get some of the neighbors and we'll head right up there. The grizzly was shot and the bodies of Kelly and Clabber were recovered. In the city, Celia told her story to the authorities. After Mr. Clabber had his fight with Bruce, he climbed the mountain, probably to think things over, and he stumbled upon the mine, just as we did. Then the grizzly surprised him. Everything checks. Yes, the condition of Clabber's body definitely shows how he met death, the same as Kelly. And so the truth was brought to light, and Bruce's freedom was restored. You'll stay and run the mine for us, won't you? Yes, Celia. and that's the story of the broken skull.
Cool.
So that's it right there. That was a pretty good story when you say. So,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think the spinner is the spinner of stories.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Spinner of mysteries. So that was a pretty cool story there.
Yeah.
Now that was a reprint from an earlier. That's a reprint from an earlier issue too. So
Okay.
So yeah. So basically that was all I was gonna read for tonight. Let's see. We made good time. We're at an hour and a half right now. So
Mhm.
so let's see. Not much more I can read on. How's everybody doing tonight?
You'd better watch out for Celia. She's pure trouble, says Woody.
Well, and you know the funny thing about it is too, particularly look, we hear all the time about this quote unquote diversity thing, right? How we need more representation in comics, and we need more of this character and that character and this, that, and next thing. But when you look back, they actually did have some pretty good diversity back in the day. Like
For sure. Yeah.
look at the number of strong female characters we've run across in our historical comic representation.
Sure. We were just talking about Myra North.
Myra North from last week. Celia Chambers here.
Mhm.
You know, Sandra McLean in DC Comics, as well as, you know, now these, and the ones we're talking about right now, of course, are just the, you know, kind of the action adventure ones too.
And then in Alley Oop, there's a couple of the girls there that are pretty big hitters. Like they take on the guys.
Yeah, and then, you know, you look at some of the more slice of life ones, like Fritzy Ritz, and Lollapalooza, Dixie Dugan, I mean,
yeah,
Pope Hazard. You know, you have a number of these great strong female characters. I mean, and one we're going to be looking at in a few weeks here, you know, in a couple, more like a couple months, you know, with Sheena when we get to that, you know. And these were strong women characters. They were strong female characters. They weren't like, they weren't playing the victim here. They weren't, you know, they were just doing what they had to do.
Yeah.
You know. There was no big deal made about the lack of their physical ability, lack of physical strength or whatever. They just did what they needed to do.
Yep.
You know? So I mean that's pretty cool right there, you know. When you look at that. I mean, I was thinking about that even last week after we went through Myra North too, how, you know, how they talk about how there need to be like more strong female characters. You look at the past, there are a number of strong female characters.
Yeah, we're coming up on almost 100 years now. So, I mean, they don't have an argument. I don't want to say their argument is weak. It's just there is no argument because it's just wrong. Everything they're saying is wrong.
Like Sandra McLean, Hope Hazard, you know, Myra North, you know, Fritzy Ritz, you know, and they're not, and again, a lot of these strong female characters are not all just simply in the action adventure genre either. You know, you find them in the humor slice of life. I mean, even look at Mrs. Gibbet too, right? Mrs. Gibbet's a pretty, you know, I've got Squibbly's mom.
Yes. Yep.
She's a fairly capable woman too, and she's a housewife and mother.
Yeah, but she doesn't take guff from the kids.
Right. You know, she'll give them. You know, when she has to, she'll give them a good whack on the rear end. When
she will not put up with it, no sir.
Yeah.
And then see what he says in the '60s. Sunday Funnies, he used to read. Alley Oop's girlfriend was always Ula.
Yeah. Was that her name, or was that just what everybody called her because they, you know, when they'd see her bad right, Ula?
Sure, that was just her name.
Yeah. Considering the time, considering the timepiece and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, you know, yeah, we come and find that you're right. The arguments don't really hold water because we've been looking back at some of these older comics and we've seen a number of strong female characters, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as we've looked over time. Sometimes they've been the main character, sometimes they've been a supporting character, but you do have some pretty good strong female characters there. You know,
For sure, definitely. Yep.
and sometimes you can be a strong female character, and it doesn't necessarily have to. You don't have to necessarily solve a big mystery or prevent some big crime to do. I mean, and you look at the little girls, some of the little girls too. I'm not just talking about the young women, but you look at some of the strong little girl characters, right? Like let's see, like Nancy.
Nancy. Yeah.
That's one of the ones I was thinking of. Little Linda, Orphan Annie, Annie
Orphan Annie.
Rooney. You know, some of these kids, some of these little girls are pretty spunky. And I don't know if you remember the story we read in Federal Men, the one JFMC story where the girls
Yeah.
solved the crime.
I do remember that. Yep.
And
then they got to kick butt and solve a crime.
So, even back in the 30s there, they didn't necessarily depict women always as like the flowers that needed to be protected all the time, the damsels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of course, we know later in like 1941, with the debut of Wonder Woman, she'd become an iconic hero in her own right. But even before that, we've seen over time here, we've seen a number of, and sometimes, as I said, it's not even always about solving some big murder mystery or solving, a crime. Sometimes it could just simply, Ellis Cinders. There's another one I was just.
Oh yeah, Ellis Cinders.
Sometimes it's just living their everyday lives and just following their dreams, like Fritzy Rich and Ellis Cinders and Ellis Cinders and Lollapalooza, Dixie Dugan, Jane Arden, Lena Pride.
That's quite a few.
Yeah. So I mean, as we've been noting, their arguments don't hold water much.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, one of the, and I don't know if you would agree with me on this, Batgoat, but one of the fun things about doing these last few months, doing this historical comic retrospect, is some of the things we learn from these experiences, right? As we're going through some of these. I mean, I'm sure there are people who thought, women were just this very dainty, always need to be protected kind of thing. But you look back to the 30s here, and you had strong women there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I liked, like last week when we were going through, like, how even your perceptions were changed a bit, after, what you initially thought of, like Dan Dunn and Myra North,
Mm-hmm.
and how you were actually thinking it was going to be a show, and I believe that. In fact, let me see if I can find that, because go back to
Woody brought up a good one. Brenda Starr, reporter, ran in those Sunday Funnies all decade from the 60s.
Yeah.
She was invented in 1940.
Yeah, so we're not at Brenda Starr yet.
But that's another good one. Very cool, Woody. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me see if I can, because I do remember, like, what you had mentioned about, like, Mary Worth and all that, and I was telling you that feature was named something else, and let me see if it was in this one. I think I do remember reading. But yeah, I believe in one of them, but not here per se, not the one from last week, but Mary Worth. I think her strip was actually named Apple, Mary, and Denny because in one when I was looking it up on when I was looking up one of the other titles, I think I noticed that they said Apple, Mary, and Denny, and then in parentheses Mary Worth. So maybe now Apple, Mary, and Denny could have been the precursor to Mary Worth.
Yeah, Mike, and I looked this up, and I'll do it again. It's Mary Worth comic strip. That's what it's called. It doesn't say anything else about that.
All right.
It started its run in 1938. Mary Worth.
All right. Let me.
Pioneering soap opera style strip influenced several that followed it.
Yeah. All right.
So she's one of the first ones, I imagine, the way that's written.
Yeah. Because what I do remember reading from comic, maybe I need to let me see one more thing here.
Brenda Starr was considerably more curvaceous than Mary Worth. Yes, Mary Worth was not a looker.
I just yeah. I'm just trying to see if because I do remember, as I said when I was doing my preview work on here, one of them did say like Apple, Mary, and one of them actually did say Apple, Mary, and Denny, and then in parentheses Mary Worth, and it did in like some of the notes say like soap opera. So oh, I could have sworn I saw that. Try to look here real quick. What are some of the other ones so popular?
Apple Mary was a comic strip about the hardships of the Depression, like selling apples off a cart.
Yeah.
You guys got any more letters on the Hangman word?
Yeah.
Any more guesses? You got 2 guesses left.
But at least according to the sources you're looking up, there was no connection between the two then. Thought again, I thought I saw there was a connection here, but
Let me see. Martha or Apple Mary. So maybe kind of confuse that. Yeah, Woody, I'm not saying I like Maryworth. I just remember it. She bored me too. Basil St. John was his name. Okay. Well, you're at 145 now, so maybe you
Okay.
want to do that after the show.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm gonna just try this last time here, and then I'm. It's not the biggest deal in the world. I just wanted to give it a good thorough. But you're right. If we are getting that close, then I think that's pretty much all right. So no biggie. If I do see it again at some point, then I'll show it to you if I
Cool.
remember
Okay.
it. I'm just not gonna. You're right. I probably shouldn't just spend any more time on it now. So anyway, so as you said, 145. So I think it would be a good time to start winding down a bit. And so, guys, are you ready for this day in each history?
History. Yes, sir.
We'll start to wrap up here. It says. Right. Woody, Dave, I know you guys are still here. Are you guys ready for this day in each history? I was just waiting for their response. That probably get to it pretty quick here.
They're sleep. Woody just passed. Excuse me. Woody just passed out on his couch, and Dave is playing. What is Dave playing? He already told us.
Yeah,
Quake 2.
Quakes 2, yeah. All right. Well, anyways, we'll get into this. So today being
From history, woohoo! Niche it up.
so happy October, everybody. This is Friday, October 1st, 2021. So why don't we take a look back at this day in each history? And of course, the first thing I'd like to do, my nose would stop itching. Is I'd like to actually wish Rico Constantino a happy 60th birthday. Now he's wrestled as both Rico Constantino and just under the name Rico. Now for the most part, this guy spent a lot of his career more in the indies, but probably most of you might remember him from his time in the WWE, most notably as the manager of Billy and Chuck during their whole gay angle. Billy Gunn and Chuck Palumbo. They were running around with red headbands and red tights and all that, and keep getting killed. All right. Well, so anyways, so I'd like to wish a happy 60th birthday to Rico. So hopefully he's doing well these days. So happy birthday to former WWE superstar Rico Constantino, age 60. Okay. So with that, let's move on to the next piece. And this one's going to be a combination anime and animation. As you guys might remember this one. As on this date back in 1981, 40 years ago today, the original Superbook premiered on this date in 1981. Superbook, if any of you happen to be flipping through like the Christian channels at the time, like CBN most notably, Christian Broadcasting Network. The show is also on TBN right now, very early Saturday morning, like 3 a.m. Saturday mornings or 4 a.m., something like that. Superbook was a classic. It was an anime. It was an anime that was basically shown as a cartoon. It was a Christian anime cartoon. It basically as they called it Superbook here. It was basically an animated Bible stories type cartoon, where you had kids who would actually, kids would open the book and they would be taken to the actual times, right? So on this date back in 1981, 40 years ago today, Superbook premiered. Let's see what else is being said here. No, it cannot possibly be October already. It is. In fact, 6 days from now, I turn 46.
Wow.
This Thursday, I turn 46. So, yeah. So, anyways, so
I don't have to keep track of my age now because I'm a grandpa.
yeah.
So that's
anyway,
nice.
so now getting that. So now, getting on to our last piece of niche history tonight. And we go to 2010, which was 11 years ago today. On this date, 10 years ago today, the 10th issue, Marvel put out the 10th edition of a special Army Air Force exchange type comic featuring the Avengers, the new Avengers here. No price, 32. I guess this was a specific comic book that was actually made for Army and Air Force members as kind of an exchange back and forth for them.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's why there was no price. I guess it was just distributed to just the Army and Air Force guys. So on this date, back in 2010, we had
Army Air Force exchange. I wonder what the S means.
service, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, right here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll highlight it or try to.
Army Air Force exchange services. Exchange services. Okay.
Exclusives. So they did 17 of these. 17 altogether. So
I wonder if people collect them, if they hold any value.
Again, from what I gather, based on just the information I saw right there, my guess is these were only specifically done just for military people.
Yeah, and it would be in the exchange.
Yeah, you'd probably know something more about that because I know being a Navy guy, you probably Navy had their kind of exchange.
We did. We had NEX Navy exchange.
Yeah. So anyway, well, guys, that's it for tonight. Batgoat, if you'll stick. Well, before we go, of course, never heard of Superbook, but I like the concept. Yeah. Well, again, it was a Christian cartoon anime. Woody, if you'd ever watched like CBN or the Christian Broadcasting Network or TBN, the Trinity Broadcasting Network, you would have probably seen it. They also had like Davy and Goliath on there.
Oh yeah, Davy and Goliath.
Yeah. So anyway, so before we head out, Batgoat, do you have any thing you want to finish up with?
The word was dummy. Dummy was the word. We know who I'm referring to, right?
Yeah. Well, we've known for the last few weeks who you've been referring to.
Yeah. And then I'll share one picture here. There it is.
All right, I'll put that up for you, my friend.
Those are the new discs I bought.
Oh wow, they look kind of cool.
Yeah. You see the one up front in the foreground is that green one is a meteor. One? Yeah, Discraft Meteor. That's a really good disc. And then the one behind it is called a Mako, an Innova Mako, and that's a good disc. And I bought the
Mako. Which one's the Mako? Because you have two blue ones behind it. You have the kind of the see-through one, and
the one it's one of the one to the right that's see-through. That's a shark on the front. So think of a Mako shark. And that was a limited edition one. So that cost $25. And that's the one, remember, I said that I put it in the drink after throwing it 3 times. So I'm going to order another one of those. But the other ones that I have here on the table are really good. Like, it makes a difference. So I'm excited to see how well I golf this week.
All right. Well, that's good. I hope you have some fun time there.
I certainly will. And Dave just thanked us.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you, Dave, for being here, and thank you guys again for the likes and shares. I do appreciate it. I hope you guys been enjoying the content. Hope you guys been enjoying the look down comics history lane because I know it's been fun. It's been fun. Learning a lot of stuff. You know.
And Toys wins the lulls. Toys wins.
Isn't that his like 10th win, Batgoat?
This is his 10th win now.
Yeah, just not here to savor in it though.
That's all right.
All right, well, guys, we'll be back here again on Monday. Back to the. Oh wait, that's right. Monday, we're not doing niche news. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a story that I started writing years ago, as per Leto's request. So if you guys want to hear that, please try to get here on time. So that
Cool.
so
Very
that
cool.
you can get to it and stuff like that. And of course, next Friday we'll be starting our historical comics retrospective in June of 1938. We'll be looking at some of the comics came out in DC. We'll probably be focusing in on Action Comics #2 and Detective Comics #17. So we'll be reading Superman. We'll be reading Tex Thompson. We'll be reading some Slam Bradley, and if we have time,
Slam.
maybe even Speed Saunders. So that's what's
Slam,
on tap,
like
guys.
Speed.
And I thank you guys again for being here, and I will see you on Monday. And Batgoat, if you can stick around for a bit.
No problem.
I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye.